When we have big energy, so when we look at this eclipse window, we had an eclipse a week or two ago, we have another today. So we can look at this as a roller coaster. So there's a month pre-eclipse shadow that takes place. So we're building and we're building and we're building and we're building, and we hit that first eclipse, and then we get a bit of dissension, and then we get a loop-de, and then we go upside down, and then we twist to the right, and we slam to the left, and we're all over the fucking place. And then we slowly start, I need to be recording this. And then we slowly start building up to this next peak. So we build up to this initial eclipse for the first month, and we're building and we're building and we're building, and it's super intense, and we finally get there and we get this bit of reprieve, and then we drop and we go to the right and to the left, and we're upside down, we're all over the place, and then we're starting to build for the second eclipse, and we're building, and it's the anticipation. It's the energetic anticipation of knowing that we are about to have a full release. Just like if we are at the full ride of a roller coaster, we were at the end of the roller coaster, we knew that there were 2 drops. So as you're approaching that second buildup, you know that this is the second drop. You know that once this reaches the peak, you are then on the descension, you are then reaching the valley, you are then going to a space of integration and unwinding. So from an energy perspective, eclipses are, as Danielle Page, my astrology teacher, whom I love very much, shares, they are agents of fate. They are the windows between worlds. So the way that I envision this and the way that I see eclipses when I tune into the energy, having the gift of sight is very, very, very helpful when there's ginormous energetic transits happening, because I'm able to see in this different perspective. So the way that I see it is you are standing between doorways. So you are standing in a hallway and you just shut the door behind you, and this door in front of you is slowly starting to creep open, and it's as if your feet are leaden and you're not able to move through that doorway just yet. It's slowly starting to creep over. You can feel this beautiful light beaming out. It's this big archway. The light is white and gold and cleansing and purifying and comforting, and it feels like home, and it feels familiar, and it also feels activating. It also feels stimulating. It also feels like in order for you to step through that next doorway, you have to become someone you have not yet been. And that's where that leaden feeling, that slow, that tired, that overwhelmed feeling really creeps in, because there is this conversation between higher self and ego and saying, in order for us to walk through that doorway, you have to let go. You have to have a death. You have to let go of the stories, the emotions, the patterns, the beliefs, the loops in your mind that are keeping you in this same exact space that is not allowing you to move through this next threshold into who you are destined to be. So there's this energy of this leaden hunkering down. We hold and we squeeze and we contract and we resist. Or like on a roller coaster, you're turning and you're upside down and you're left and you're right, and it's intense, and you're contracting and you're squeezing and you're holding, and then you're building up to that next peak and you're contracting and you're squeezing and you're holding, and then you're on the descension, and you know that this is a full release. You're going to arrive in that descension, in that wind in your hair, in that calm. There's no more buildup after this. It's integration. That is the energy right now. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling slow, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling like your brain is moving at a mile a minute, if there's a bunch of old stories coming up or old experiences that you're like, why am I thinking about this right now? There is nothing wrong with where you are at right now. Anxiety, sleeplessness, restlessness, feeling tired, feeling wired, feeling bloated, because this is also a new moon season that we're in. If you are feeling everything all at once, like we're wringing out the towel, but you're witnessing so much before the towel is fully wrung out, it is okay. And as someone who has been deep in the trenches with this energy for the past probably 6 to 7 weeks, I promise you that whatever you are experiencing does not define you at all. Everything is coming up. And the tricky thing is that our human mind is like, oh my gosh, this is coming up. So I need to attach to it. I need to understand it. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? Why? How, right? We go into these really big loops. We do not want to be caught in a loop. We want to spiral. And I know that there's like all of these things on the interwebs about spirals, and they get such a bad fucking rap. Spirals are a very good thing because spirals end. Loops do not. When we spiral, we're able to get really clear on what's coming up. When we are experiencing a lot of big emotions, a lot of big feelings, we're remembering a lot of things throughout our life, it's not the body's way of saying, you should feel bad about this, or you should feel this about this, or you need to think about this again, or you need to relive this again. No. This is the body's way of saying, hey, you are in a very open space right now. We are energetically at the threshold between veils, and you are very intuitively attuned at this now moment. I, your body, am able to communicate with you at a soul level and also at a human level to inform you that I am holding on to all of this, all of these emotions, all of these memories, all of these suppressed stories, experiences, traumas, beliefs, identities. I'm holding on to all of this. And I think it's time that we let all this go so that you can activate, so that you can upgrade, and so that you can move forward. So I want to show all of this to you to get your sign off, to get your, your full confirmation, full consent, that we're going to wipe all of this out of your body because it's taking up a lot of space on your internal hard drive. Human beings are the most sacred technology on the face of the earth. We operate not all that different from a very, very, very intelligent piece of technology. So when we think about a hard drive, your computer cannot run if the hard drive is way past max capacity. That's not going to happen. Your phone is going to be really slow if you've kept all of your text messages for the past 10 years of your life and you have 40,000 photos. So when we reach eclipses are agents of fate. I like to call them mini Saturn returns. If you're familiar with Saturn is the ruler of responsibility, the responsibility to our soul, who we signed on to be in this life and what we signed to do. We came in with a big mission. Light workers, starseeds, beings of light, beings of consciousness, Christ-conscious humans, Christ-conscious souls. We came in to shift the collective into this great awakening, into the prophecy of heaven on earth, new earth, the next golden age. We are here to lead that. We cannot lead that if we are completely bogged down with imposed limitations, beliefs that are non-serving, negativity, fear, scarcity, lack, contraction. We cannot be leaders of light if we are being bogged down by the make-believe experiences of the third dimension. And not to take away from anyone's experience, because we've all been there. We've all been in an experience that is uncomfortable and unfavorable. And oh my gosh, my dear cousin-in-law, Rachel Skews, is on this call. And I was absolutely raging to her this week about a very human thing. We are human beings having a human experience. It is not to take away from the reality that we are going to feel fear. We are going to feel contraction. We are going to feel tightness. We are going to feel these old identities that don't serve us. The difference is how we interact with them and how we attach to them. Because the trick is always non-attachment. So if a situation can come in and you can rage about it and then you can clear it out and virtually forget about it, or a situation comes in and you're able to take a step back and have zero attachment, take nothing about it personal, act as Jesus. I mean, that, like Christ consciousness, obviously, if we're able to drop into that, more power to us as individuals, like Christ consciousness growing at rapid fire. But if we're able to take these situations and step back, observe them, be the observer, not attached to them, and then allow them to flow out, then our body isn't going to hold on to them. when we circle and we circle and we loop around situations and stories and experiences, then we become them because we're caught in this endless cycle and the hard drive can't clear out and our bodies are on overwhelm and at max capacity and there's no energetic space for anything to come in or go out because we're holding. So during these big eclipses, it's our agents of fate. It's the ruler of responsibility. It's our soul getting the microphone and saying enough. These identities aren't serving us. These beliefs aren't serving us. These experiences are not serving us. Yes, we experience those traumas and they hurt, but they are not who we are. They are what we experienced. And at a soul level, we know why we're here. We were given this mission. We chose this mission. We are ready to be of service. And when we step into that, especially during an eclipse, what happens is all of these energetic upgrades, all of these codes that are within us get to rise into our consciousness, where we're able to integrate, we're able to upgrade, we're able to activate, we're able to increase our vibrational frequency and expand our consciousness. And that's where we want to be. So with whatever you're experiencing right now, there is nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. But you are also not what you are experiencing right now. And you are absolutely not what you are feeling right now. Feelings are teachers. When we feel our feelings in the moments that we feel them and then we allow ourselves to move on, we are spiraling out of that moment. When we spiral out of that moment, we increase our frequency. We do not become it. If you're feeling like, all right, this energy has been really big. It's, if you're tracking from an astrology standpoint where it's hitting your chart and you're giving yourself the spaciousness to integrate, this isn't just an eclipse, because the other element that I wanted to create space to talk about as well is solar flares. We've been receiving a pounding of solar flares onto the planet for a few years now. Probably I'm seeing since 1999 was when we started receiving a lot of solar flares onto the planet. An increase in 2001, 2003, 2007, 2013, and then from 2017 to current. And these will continue until 2036 is the dates that I'm seeing. So as we are being slammed with solar flares, you might hear my dogs get a little crazy. I don't know who's been feeling this eclipse more, truly. Our dogs, my baby, or me. Pat's always fine. My soon-to-be husband has the most beautifully balanced birth chart of anyone I've ever seen. And I'm pretty sure we could have like a meteor plummeting to the earth and he'd still be cool as a cucumber. Like, I am so blessed to be marrying this man, because I have 5 planets in Pisces. Like, sometimes I just completely drown in my own emotions. I need someone to always be pulling me out. And I'm a Leo rising, so I add just a flare of drama to my emotional depth. So, God bless. Anywho, my little rant there. With solar flares, the sun holds codes of Christ consciousness specifically. We hold Christ consciousness within us. We hold codes within us. We hold codes written within our DNA. And when we receive activations onto the planet, that energy of activation then sends a frequency, a shock wave of energy to our physical vessel that then alerts that DNA with that signature, with that scripture of light code to activate, to stimulate, to come online, and to lock into our crystalline core and our crystalline blueprint of our sacred technology. So the technology within our soul that is then housed by our body. So when we have a partial solar eclipse with solar flares, we can look at this as this giant opening for a slam dunk of Christ consciousness energy coming onto the planet. When we think about Christ consciousness, probably a lot of our fears, our limitations, our self-talk, our beliefs are probably not in alignment with Christ consciousness, right? When we think about the unlimited, fruitful abundance, unconditional love, the limitlessness, the untapped everything. The heavens are not even the limit. Heavens just keep going and going and going. There is no ceiling anywhere when we think about Christ consciousness, right? From a human lens. So when we think about Christ consciousness, then being beamed at a frequency level onto the planet, everything that's not in alignment with Christ consciousness is going to be brought up right now. And it has nothing to do with you doing anything wrong. It has everything to do with your body saying, hey, we got to get rid of all this because we are having a lot of Christ codes come through our DNA. And this is going to be for your highest good and your highest benefit for us to integrate and activate and really tune into these. So I need to clear all of this shit out so that you can really step into this next level, into this next version of yourself, into this next dimension of consciousness, because that's going to be your greatest guide for the next 6 months until we go through another giant shaking and cleansing and clearing and activating and rearranging and upgrading. But like, this is who I need you to be. So I need all this to go. So it's a super heightened time because now all of this is coming up so that it can go out. So if you have been feeling like maybe a really busy mind or a lot of emotions or feeling a little like fight, flight, freeze because there's so much coming up, you're not alone. You're not wrong. And this is, just know that it's nothing about you. You do not have to become it. It's just your body's way of saying, hey, I have some data for you to look at. And I need you to look at it. And then I need you to clear, alt, delete. Because this is going to be really good for you. And if we can clear, alt, delete, then you're going to be a clean slate. And I'm going to be able to integrate all of these codes. And you're going to be able to really step into this next wave of ascension for you. And then you're going to really be able to step into your position as a leader of light. So I need you to do this for you. And I need you to do this now because the energy permits you to do so. And just take a nice deep breath and breathe into that energy. It's a lot. It is a lot. And it's understandable if you're feeling a lot right now. And you are not your feelings. Your feelings are guides. They're areas of opportunity to feel, release, expand, grow, integrate, reach a greater understanding, and to move on. So go ahead and send any questions, anything that resonated, anything that's coming up for you in the chat, and I'll answer as much as we can possibly get through. And then we'll drop into the magic because I think that's what we're all needing today.